going to call the June 25th, 2026 O'Fallon City Council Workshop to order. Roll call, Katie.
Mayor Hennessy.
Present.
Councilmember Wexler.
Present.
Councilmember Wilcox.
Present.
Councilmember Boyer.
Present.
Councilmember Yates.
He's excused.
Councilmember Cascella.
Here.
Councilmember Link.
Present.
Councilmember Taylor.
Present.
Councilmember Spencer.
Present.
Councilmember Cook.
Present.
Councilmember Palmer.
Present.
Folks, you have an agenda in front of you. What's the pleasure?
So move, Wexler.
Second Link.
Motion by Councilman Wexler, second by Link. Questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Anything on the agenda that you folks want to talk about? Seeing none. Oh, go ahead, Amanda.
I was trying to find it real quick. I was had some questions on the agenda. It's under the committee and commission reports, the road exterior change orders. And I think I had given Mr. Snowden a heads up with that. It definitely, I guess to give a backstory to the council, this was a bid we bid on in November last year, and it was one I voted no against because it was two bids, and I remember I think the difference in the two bids was like 2.5 million, and we had I think the owner here, and he was up there because I had questions, right? It was like such a large amount in between the two bids, and I just had some questions of, why, and I didn't think that they could afford it. So definitely, when I saw some change orders, it definitely hit my radar on this one. And it wasn't for a lot of amount, but I should have got organized here. I had a couple of questions about, there were 3 different change orders, and one of them was for warranty requirements that should have been, I guess it was added, something was added because it didn't, I guess it needed can you explain that one for me? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. What happened with that is we were replacing the roof with the same material. So when the material was originally placed on the roof, however many years ago, it required an underlayment of 1.5 inches. So that was the bid that we put out because we didn't know that the warranty level had changed. It was only after the bid was awarded, we did find out that they required a 2-inch underlayment in order to keep the warranty intact. That's just a new standard that they have. So that's where the change order came, was to switch from 1.5 inches to 2. And again, that was just because we were unaware the manufacturer's standards had changed.
Okay, so that was something that was not in the bid. And so that's the same too for, I think it was change order number 3 for a manufacturing installation requirements.
Yes, ma'am. That was another requirement that the manufacturer standard had changed over the years, is that they had to have this the ice and water shield in that one. That wasn't the case when it was originally installed.
So these are things like we found out later. It wasn't in the bid packages or anything like that.
Correct. They were completely unforeseen. Because there's one more, I'll go ahead and answer that too. That's for the senior center. And basically when they got the old roof off the senior center, there was a lot more plywood that needed to be replaced than anybody thought. So that's the third of the 3 change orders.
Yeah, that one, I understand, like they had the pictures, I saw that that wasn't something they would known beforehand. These are from April. Is there any other, still pending change orders with them? Because that's why I said this is definitely, this one's on my radar just because it was kind of a big to-do, I think, when we were voting on it, so.
Certainly. As of this moment, no. But they're not done with the project. There are 4 more roofs, I believe, to go. So I can't say there won't be something unforeseen on those. But as of right now, there are no change orders outstanding outside of these 3.
Okay, that was it. Thank you.
Anybody else? All right. Moving on. Do you have a motion to second to approve the workshop minutes of May 28, 2026?
Wilcox. Wexler.
Motion by Councilman Wilcox, second by Councilman Wexler. Questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. All in favor? Aye. There we go. Oh, man. All right. Next is discuss the request for the purchase of 6 heavy-duty trucks in 2026. Who's presenting this? Mr. Wanzera?
I'll take the first shot at it, and I think Jason wants to have a few words as well on this. See a lot of new faces up here, so I'll introduce myself. I'm Jim Wanzera. I'm the Environmental Services Superintendent with the city. And tonight, I just wanted to talk to you about a resolution that's on tonight's meeting for the purchase of 3 additional trash trucks, and discuss our reasoning and our justification as to why we want to purchase them early rather than wait until the beginning of 2027. The problem that we've got going is EPA regulations are changing for 2027 for all heavy-duty trucks on the emission standards. This has happened in the past and continues to happen from time to time. This year's changes are extreme, according to the industry. So what we want to do is we want to get in before the changes take effect, purchase trucks that are still on the, I think it's the last one was the 2010 emissions. So we want to stay on that and be able to save some money. We did put a bid out earlier this year for trucks, and we got approval to purchase 2 trucks. And I was able to get the contractor to hold that pricing so that we can purchase 3 more with approval to get this year. These changes for the emission standards, they are going through some legal things right now, so everything's not set in stone on when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen, but it's dragged out so long now that the manufacturers, they have to do something. They've got to build some engines, whether it's going to be to the old emissions or the new, but I can't imagine they're ever going to go old because they're going to have to get it to the new. So at this time, that the dealer that we're dealing with can get us the 3 trucks. So that's where our plan is. Back in 2008, just to give you a little bit of how it happened and why it happened, they made these kind of changes back in 2008, and we bought 3 trucks at the city. Those 3 trucks came in, and within days, they were down because of emission problems. It was all brand new. We took it to the dealers because obviously it's warranty, but that didn't really help us because they didn't know what to do. They didn't know what was wrong. They didn't know how to fix it. Those trucks were down for 8 months. We didn't have trucks. When they finally figured out what was wrong, no parts were available. And that's very common with purchasing new trucks. The parts are built for the sales of new trucks. You usually wait about a year before replacement parts are available for new trucks that were purchased. So we don't want to be those guinea pigs again and be that person sitting there with 3 trucks that we don't know what's going on. So that's the reason for why I'm here tonight and why that resolution is out there for tonight. So I wanted to try to answer any questions you might have, but to tell you the savings also, we avoid being that guinea pig and having those trucks, but the cost of these trucks will be roughly about $100,000 cheaper than what we would buy them in 2027. So we'll also have that in the advantage as well. So I'd be happy to answer any other questions that you might have about it.
I got a question for Jason. Jason, you want to come up? As Jim was talking about, the different, the new stuff coming out, the environmental stuff that's coming out. You got plans on when they do come out to send our guys for training?
We're going to do Cummins training, because that's
You can do what?
Cummins training. That's typically the engine that we get with our vehicles. But I will say that even with Cummins, they are now typically, like I spec out an L9 Cummins engine. That one's being they're stopping that one. They're going with an X10 now. But ultimately, yes, we're going to go through training.
Okay.
But that's the intent behind, if we buy this year, we can get the training for those vehicles that we haven't got yet for next year or the year after, I should say.
Okay. Questions? Mr. Palmer?
So first off, I just want to reiterate that I always hear positive about our environmental services, so thank you guys. Second, I think it's a great strategy. Not always a great opportunity to be the first mover. So I think it's a great plan. If I understand it correctly, all we're doing is accelerating the purchases. And then my last question would be, and I think you said it, pricing is commensurate with previous purchases in the same year?
That's correct. These purchases would have been in the 2027 budget. So that's what you would have seen. So you will see no heavy duty. There's a chance there could still be a small vehicle, but it wouldn't be these trucks. And as far as going forward, yes, the pricing, we just did bid it out in, I don't remember, it was January or February, but so they're holding to that pricing.
On my side, it's different. This year, we had no single axle heavy-duty trucks, which like your Freightliners or your Internationals. We had none of those to replace this year. We do have some for next year, so I'm trying to bump those up to now. The issue I'm running into is I do have to go out for bid for those trucks. That's the way it is. And with going out for bid, I'm looking at what is the pricing going to be, because the demand now for a 2026 is high. So I'm sure the price is going to go up. Is it going to go up $20,000 or $30,000? I don't know. I don't think that'll be the case for the 2026. But I will say that 2027 trucks, they're looking at, you know, $10,000 in parts and $10,000 for the warranty baked into that truck price. That, you know, they said the warranty will go up to, I think it was 10 years or 280,000 miles, which we're going to pay for that as the consumer. So I'm looking at, with going out for bid as of tomorrow, you know, we have approval here now. If we have approval to move forward with this, I'm going to go out for bid tomorrow. 14 days, I'm going to know how much these trucks are going to be.
But you're talking not the 3 trucks we're talking about now.
No, I'm sorry. Mine are replacement dump trucks. I'm sorry. I have the 3 replacement dump trucks.
Okay.
Jim does just environmental service. I do the rest of the city.
Okay.
So as far as I have 3 of them that, yeah, I'll have. I'm not going to say same cabin chassis, but it is the heavy-duty cabin chassis.
Makes sense. And that was why I was asking about the pricing, is because I'm assuming that others will be doing the same thing to try and accelerate purchases, and as demand goes up, supply stays constant, price goes up. So, okay, good.
Mr. Wilcox?
So if we do get this approved and get this done, we could see savings of $100,000 per truck. Is that correct? If we do it this year instead of 2027, potentially?
No, I wouldn't say per truck, but 20,000 to 30,000 per truck. Potentially, that's what they're claiming. That's the thing. We don't know how much. That's the word on the street, is 20,000 to 30,000 increase, and it makes sense when they're showing the parts that they're listing to put on these trucks for these for the increase or the decrease of the emissions. There's a lot of parts that are going on these trucks. They're going to get really complicated real quick.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Mr. Boyer?
So how long do these trucks usually last? And how big is the fleet currently? And I guess as we're going forward, I guess we're going to be planning for spending more on these trucks. And then with the second 3, you're going to come back with another request to pull funds forward from 27 to 26
We'll do mid-year.
for your 3 trucks.
You'll see. Yes, you'll see it mid-year. We've got about 40 of these trucks for us in service.
We've got 15 of this style truck.
Okay, 15. And how long do they usually last? And how many are getting close to aging out?
Well, every year we order trucks. So it's either 2 trucks or 3, and we rotate that generally. So that's what we've done probably for the last 20 years that I've been here. So that keeps us in a good pattern, that we're not having old trucks with problems. These trucks, now this will give us 5 of the same model year. That's probably the max we want, because if not, we're going to have them all maxing out at the same age, and we don't want that either. So that's kind of what we got.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mine are typically 10, 12-year life cycle for a dump truck.
Awesome. And how many dump trucks do we have?
I'm going with 32 right now.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, I mean, you got streets, you have parks, you have water, sewer.
A lot of trucks.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? Again, as Jim said, this is for a resolution for tonight, so, okay. Mr. Snowden?
Not to take away anything from Mr. Del Pozo, but for those of you that just met Mr. Winzera for the first time, he is 95% of the reason why over 20 years we've never increased the cost to pick up trash in the city. So thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
About me.
They're clapping for you too, Jason.
When he's done it for 20 years, we'll clap for him.
All right. All right, newbies, here we go. City Council fiscal year 2027 budget kickoff. This is where you guys get your wants and wishes and everything else for the 2027 budget. So this is, we're not going to guarantee you everything that's going to get in the budget like a dog park, but so just this is where you get to have your wish list to Mr. Snowden and Ms. Bosher and all these folks that are sitting here that does a great job. So we're going to kick this off with Ms. Cook.
All right, so top of my list is a dog park. I've been trying for 12 years, maybe this year will be the year. And then also, recently I was in Fort Zumwalt Park, and we did get the doggy drinking fountains in, but there's only one in the whole park. So I'd like to see additional doggy drinking fountains kind of in the park, if we could do that. And then I was told by a police officer that there's a need for another e-bike, at least one, maybe more. So maybe we could put that in the budget for the police, because those things work out wonderful for the festivals and things. I mean, the officers love them.
Are those motorized e-bikes?
What class are they? And then one I've been wanting for a long time too is the trail connection from Highway K, on Highway N, from Highway K to the Cottleville Trail. I would love to see that connected. It's not very long, so I would love to see that trail. Did you get all that? And of course, streets. We've always got to make sure we put enough in the budget for our streets. So.
Okay. That it, Deb?
That's it.
Oliver?
Thank you. I will echo the path. I would say paths across the city. Anything extra we can do for paths is huge. A walkable city is just going to make it a better city overall. Of course, roads and any extras we can throw at the park. Our parks are already great, but if we can continue to support, that'd be fantastic.
Mr. Boyer?
Agreed with the path on Highway N, and really it's making O'Fallon walkable as much as we can up and down K, and popping into any of the paths that we have out there. Another thing that's I like to continued focus on is our communication. I think we do a great job. We've got so many avenues out there, but a lot of people still don't know what's going on. So we're still going to try to crack that nut. We're going to be the ones that do it. I mean, everyone in the world wants to do it, but one of these things are going to take off, and people will actually be aware of all the cool things that we've got going on here in the city. So this is just more communication, trying to figure out how to reach the seniors, reach just the normal public. Another focus for this next couple years, would be leaning into us as a destination for our youth athletics. With the World Cup being here now, there's going to be an increased interest in soccer, and we've got awesome soccer fields here. Let's bring them in. 2 years from now, we've got the Olympics, and St. Louis is going to be hosting some of the preliminary Olympic soccer. So again, we're going to have another thing here where we can say, hey, we're here, come into O'Fallon. We've got fields for you to play around with. So we've got 3 or 4 years of hopefully people coming in and wanting to use our fields and baseballs and soccers, and hopefully the indoor facility that we're about to kick off. And then roads, of course. I think that's about all I've got right now.
I do have a question for you, Mr. Boyer.
Yes, sir.
Since you're trying to figure out communication, how to get it to everybody, do you have a suggestion?
See, that would be, if I
No,
did.
and I, as I said, I don't
Yeah.
want to put you on the spot,
Yeah.
but I'm just trying to figure out if somebody else on this council kind of knows an example of how to, Tony may have something, but I'm just trying to figure out.
No, the
I
only-
don't want to put it all on
Yeah.
staff to do that, but go ahead, Oliver.
Thank you, Mayor. Last weekend or 2 weekends ago, I was at the farmers market in St. Charles City, and they had a city booth there. So I don't know if we could put one. I know there's that little market in the up here in the corner, but something like that. I thought it was kind of interesting.
Okay.
And maybe even on TV, run an ad or something. I don't know. We've got other avenues. I don't know if we've got the young people on Instagram or the TikToks or the YouTubes. We got the YouTubes, but not the the Snapchats. I don't know what else is next.
Okay.
Yeah. I may not be the one to answer. If I had that answer, I probably would not be here. I'd be out making a whole lot of money. So that's
No, as I said, if somebody else has some, well, Amanda, we'll get to you. Do you have a suggestion?
I think she's got.
Go ahead.
I actually was kind of on my list, and I like that. I was wondering how much it would be for like an app for the city that we can have on our phone, that could, that's how I keep with communication with everything, get alerts on the app and things like that.
Okay.
I was just going to suggest, as an example, the whole play vehicle thing, exactly one person showed up, but a lot of people voiced discontent afterwards, online, et cetera. Using some of the current mechanisms we have, would there be a way of saying, why should you care on this one or this one? Meaning the e-bike thing, that vote obviously was controversial afterwards, but others might have been interested in it, and had they been made more aware. So rather than just here's an agenda every week, but like this week's kind of boring, so I probably wouldn't say anything about this week, but next week Doug's going to make sure that it's exciting, So there are some things that do catch attention. So would it be worth, whether it's on our Facebook pages or whatever, putting something out there when something controversial or of more significant interest? You can't do it every time, otherwise people won't pay attention, because we already do it every time with our agendas. But on those things where we think it'll be super important to get community involvement in, do we do something like that, like a highlight, like why should you care, but make it unique and every once in a while, instead of just, yes, do the agenda every 2 weeks, but nobody pays attention to that one except us.
Okay. All right. Got all that down, Mr. Machaka? Mr. Caskello?
Thank you, Mayor. A few things I'd like to see: the O'Day Park to Caledonia walking connectivity completed. Obviously, roads. St. Charles County roads plan no longer shows the connection of Lake St. Louis from its current. The Phase 3 is no longer shown on their plan. So reallocating those funds to expedite the Dyer Road project, and potentially using that specifically for the connectivity of Wingate villages along Deer Road. Second, for all other connectivity, and the Cottleville Trail for sure. I'd like to see more retention and economic development incentives. I don't have any specific ideas, but I know Patrick is smart. But I think allocating money in that direction is a good thing, especially as we continue to try to attract people to Caledonia. I actually have app development on my list, which I think is awesome. I think it'd just be easy, for the web page is fantastic from a e-reader like a iPad, or from a laptop, or from a desktop computer. From the screen of your phone, it is tough. So like a mobile, it does have like the mobile capacity or capability, but something that is app-based would be great. And continue to grow the drones as first responder program. I know we have the entire city covered, but if we're able to split that distance, we cut the time in half, and I think that is going to be a huge, huge asset for the city of O'Fallon. That's all I got.
Ms. Spencer?
So I was planning to dump all of my wish list into roads, but I got to second what Steve said. Watching the drone operate was super awesome. And I really think that we should definitely see if we can allocate some funding towards, continuing that drone program. But I do kind of want to see our road funding focused more on replacing roads that are failing instead of these repeated repairs. I think that long-term solutions just better serve our residents. It's a more efficient use of tax dollars. So I think I would really like to see a greater increase in road funding than we've even seen in years prior. I know last year was a good jump, but I think we can find ways to do better.
That it? Ms. Taylor?
Yeah, I got to start off with roads. I mean, that's always something I'm talking about. I know in our strategic plan we had increased 25% every year. I think we need to be a lot more aggressive, especially after kind of seeing how that extra, it feels like it barely kind of scratches the surface when you actually see that money going into, your ward and the streets there. So definitely I would like a more aggressive increase for our road funding. And also sidewalks. We've had a lot of problems. I've had a lot of calls in the last few months, especially there was 2 elderly that fell and banged themselves up pretty bad on some of our sidewalks. Got some black eyes, so I think that's something that we really need some, increased money for. And also sidewalk on Feisey. There is a part that's not extended. I would like to see that extended. I know we talked about it cost a pretty good amount, but where I live, there's the high school right there, and our neighborhoods are very disconnected, from Amber Meadows and where we are. A lot of times the kids will cut through yards to go to school, or Nelson's property. But if they had a sidewalk, a complete sidewalk, I think on Feisey that they could take around to Bryan, that would be helpful. I would also like to see street lights on Feisey in Mexico. It's really dark over there, a lot of accidents and things that are, I think could be avoided by street lights. And then, the last on my list was like a city app. I think St. Peter's has one. And if, we want to take that top spot back from being the greatest city, to live in, we got to get ourselves an app. So I'm definitely for that.
Just remember, the corner of Feisey and Bryan, we only control one corner. Quick Trip? The other side? No, CVS is ours. The other 3 corners is Darden Prairie.
Yeah.
So just give you a heads up. I mean, if you want streetlights, that's a major problem. And to me, I would go to Darden Prairie and says, need to put streetlights up there on the corner.
Well, I'm talking about down it, like coming out of neighborhoods and stuff. It's really dark.
That's part of Darden Prairie.
Yeah, you're right.
So, all right, Mr. Link.
All right. Well, if you thought infrastructure was going to be at the top of my list, you're certainly right. So we'll definitely echo again, as many of the other council members have said, the need to continue to increase our spending on our roads to keep them in better condition. Councilman Cascella, he got a great one too, right around Wingate there. Certainly want to see us accelerate getting multi-use paths along Dyer Road. As a subdivision, we've been disconnected with several of our little enclaves along Dyer Road ever since we were built. So, really want to see that accelerated. Parks, I think we're heading in the right direction there, especially with some of the developments going on there in Winghaven. Out by us too, I think while our police force does a wonderful job, we could certainly use more good guys, and we certainly want to keep them safe. So, let's make sure they're well funded and that they have all the tools and technology that they need so that they can return home safely. And then lastly, something to maybe help us out a little bit more too is just the continued investment in technology and other tools we have. I know one of the things more specifically we've talked about maybe over the last few weeks with some of these subdivisions has been this economic impact analysis. And, right now it's a spreadsheet that we just put numbers into based on some heuristics. So it'd be nice to be a lot more data driven and have more complex models feed into those numbers that we use for our decision making. So I'd like to see some more investment in whether it's services we can subscribe to get that data, or just more sophisticated tools so we can make better decisions.
Okay. Mr. Wilcox?
A couple of these have already been mentioned, but we have great parks. I'd love to continue to support our parks, and we need to continue to improve our roads. I love the ideas of making us a more walkable community. And then also, my last thing is just some money allocated to the sound mitigation at Castle, potentially a roof on the shooting range there.
Last but not least, Mr. Palmer.
Everybody took all my good ideas. Roads.
That's what happens when you're last.
Roads by far and above. Like, again, everybody I talked to had complaints about roads, and that's not just fixing the broken ones, but expanding ones that might need to have a little more love. And then I don't remember who said it, also echoing our support of the police. Love the integration of technology. I don't know if this is even possible in government budgeting, but is there a way to hold some type of reserve in case something comes up that was kind of unforeseen that we'd want to jump on? And that doesn't just apply to the police, but maybe other departments. Parks were already mentioned. And then I think, I've heard about desires to revitalize downtown. I think that would be awesome. And I think in anything we can do also to help involve our seniors. I don't have any specific ideas, but that question when I was sitting down there a few months ago, still ringing in my ears on, what are we doing to get the seniors more involved? And I still didn't have an answer then. I don't have an answer now, but I would hate for funding to be something that we don't, it causes us not to do that. That's all.
Okay. I have one favor, Mr. Drabell. Can you, when this comes back up, everybody's saying they want to increase infrastructure. We know that concrete costs have gone up. We know labor's gone up. We know everything. So if my thing is in the past, yes, we raised 25%, but that 25% is not all going to take effect of fixing the roads, because the cost of the concrete's gone up, the cost of labor's gone up, the cost of everything has gone up. So what I would really like is to see for the past 5 years, okay, this is how much the increase of concrete went, how much labor's gone up, how much everything has gone up the past 5 years. Because, granted, we put an extra 25% in, but what part of that 25% is it 15% that we're getting out of it? Is it 10% we're getting out of it? I think that would go a long way of kind of explaining, we put 25% more into fixing our streets, but as they're saying, it doesn't seem like there's enough getting done. But I don't know if that's because of the cost. I don't know.
We're actually working on a presentation for August already, kind of just about road funding in general, and we will certainly add that piece to it, because I think you're absolutely right, Mayor, and we'll make sure that's in there.
Okay. You had your chance.
No, I know, but you just reminded me of something. I can't remember if you guys actually had said it or not, but there was a question, I don't remember where we were, around, in an ideal world, how much would the funding need to be at the roads to keep them acceptable? And I can't remember if we threw out a rough number or if there was some analysis.
Mr. Bender, do you remember that number? If I remember right, you're the one that presented it a while back, and it was an astronomical number.
Well, we've had all kinds of numbers presented over the years. I think Tony Friedman probably did the most on this, but we as staff are working, and we need the new PCIs to really study what we need, and we're looking at acquiring some software to actually plan this out and give a more finite number on what is actually needed for these costs.
And the reason I ask is I have this at work all the time. We need more, we need more, we need more. And then when I say, well, how much do you need before you stop asking for more? And I'm saying that to us, not to you guys. and they can never give that answer, right? So having at least a ballpark would, I think, give us a comfortable feeling that, hey, if we increase 25% per year, then in 6 years we'll be probably at a even state where, from there on. I just made it up, right? But you kind of see where I'm going with why I'm asking that question.
I went back and actually watched the meeting that was talked about. I think it was 2016 or something like that. So these numbers are completely out of date. But back in 2016, it was $12 million a year for the next 10 years. And at that time, we were giving about $500,000 to streets. So I'm sure it's higher than that now.
I almost said something totally inappropriate, but our environmental services haven't increased cost over 20 years. I mean,
Okay, Mr. Snowden.
Winzera is now in charge of streets. No, actually, Tom answered what I was going to say. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Ms. Cascella.
Yeah, thank you. Has anyone taken advantage of I know we were doing a creek bank where we helped them like a cost share 50-50. Has anyone taken advantage of that program since its inception? I know we had the one that was a really good success. Has anyone else taken advantage of that?
Wade?
Yeah, Mayor, we typically get about 2 a year that take advantage of that program. So.
Okay, is there a set amount that is budgeted for that? I don't remember.
There is, and I would have to look up that, probably around 50,000 or something like that.
Vicky's shaking her head yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Any more wish list items?
Everybody's, Mr. Boyer?
Yeah, there's one I forgot. I don't know if it's time yet. I guess the last comprehensive plan that we did was in 2021. Is that right? I think that's what I saw online. That we started in 2020 and it published in 2021. I don't know how often we do that. I know that we talked about it late last year. Probably end up talking about it here in July. Could we start budgeting for that in 2027?
It's typically every 10 years. Okay. Which isn't to say we can't do it more often, but that would be
the normal cadence?
Yes.
All right. So I didn't know, and I know it costs money, so I don't know what that's.
It certainly does cost money. We did do some scenario planning in about 23, I think it was. So we did a couple of extra scenarios in 23. So I can't say it was updated, but we did do additional work a couple years later. If this council wishes for us to do a refresh on that, you certainly can go down that path.
At least maybe a budget check of what it would cost to do something like that, maybe?
I think, Spencer, do you remember it all? I think Spencer was in high school when we did
That was right when I started. They implemented those scenario plans, so unfortunately I do not have an answer for that.
Nearly 100,000? Call it approximately $100,000.
Didn't we just save that in buying garbage trucks this year instead of next?
If only environmental services could pay for the comp plan, that would be great.
Go ahead, John.
So I have one more. I don't remember what employee retention is for the city. I know we got a lot of people that stick around for a really long time. I know some departments have a harder time with retention. I think it would be fantastic to also have people say, oh, Fallon's a great place to work, not just a great place to live. I recognize challenges in certain types of jobs, but should we look into what it would cost to kind of change that scenario a little bit? Because I know that stability in the employee base only benefits everyone. So it would be something out there I'd be interested in. Could we kind of explore some?
Go ahead, Mark.
Could I ask you to dive a little deeper into what you mean by that?
Well, what's our turnover rate in the city?
I'm going to say approximately 15%. But if you take 3 or 4 job categories out of that, it's like 2%.
Right. And so those 2 or 3 departments, is it worth thinking about changing our strategy on those? And I get the argument will be, hey, from an economic standpoint, some jobs are, I can get lots of different people to do it, but I feel like there's a value in retaining people to do a job, even if it's something that I can sustain turnover because it's a high availability of supply of labor. I think from a and employee satisfaction, and frankly, a quality of job work all improves if people are not constantly looking for like their next job to go. Again, just something that we've looked at places at work as well. 15% across 500 people is pretty high. That means that those 2 or 3 departments are probably like super high in turnover. So is there something we could or should be doing to try and temper that a bit? Because I mean, training, et cetera, and I know frankly, some jobs are not fun to do, but can we switch up our strategy on some of the compensation to get better retention? Because I think that will drive better work. And if we're talking, I'm going to guess like the roads department's probably some of those areas. And if we're talking about we struggle with roads, is there opportunity to say we can do something with our pay strategies or whatever it might be, retain people there, and they do a little better job maybe. And I'm not saying they're not doing a good job. I'm just looking at correlations and thoughts.
So what I would say to that is it's typically entry-level jobs that have the most churn, as you could imagine. But I think our HR department and all of our departments do a really good job looking at compensation strategies and doing everything we can within the constraints of what a municipal government can do. For instance, it's literally illegal to give bonuses, as an example, which might be perfectly normal in your worlds, but it's absolutely against the law in our world. And so those types of things have to come into play. What I would suggest and what I'd like to do, and Tanya's about to fall out of her chair, at some point I would like us to workshop what we do and how we go about trying to retain our folks and the compensation studies that we do and how we do that. So I appreciate those thoughts, and if you don't mind, we'll turn that into a workshop a little bit later in the year and just educate everybody on what we can and can't do and what we've done so far, and then you guys can give us your thoughts on what we might do to improve it. So thank you very much.
Mr. Wexler?
Thank you. Coming from a street department, just a heads up that I don't know if our streets has high turnover, but O'Fallon is well talked of in the streets community. I've heard very good things, and a lot of people talk highly of it. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate that.
Anybody else? Speak now or forever hold thy peace. Mr. Boyer?
Last one I forgot.
Don't you have all this written down?
I did, but then I got distracted. I got all excited about soccer and the Olympics and all that stuff. And
The theater's underway.
I know. No, the Fort Zumwalt Park's a very dark park, so if we could add a little bit of light in that would be nice. That's it.
Well, it closes at dark.
We work out in the morning.
Yeah.
Never mind. Carry on.
Chief, you gotta go patrol the parks a little earlier later.
I've got one more for you, Mayor.
Hold on, we're not done. Mr. Link?
All right, and this kind of came through what Councilmember Palmer just said. So maybe one thing we could do is look at what's the biggest pain point every department here has, and on their wish list, they give us that one big pay point, and we'll try to find a way to help them resolve that.
Okay. Anybody else? Corey? Steve?
I can come up with some if you need some more.
No. Brian?
No, my shovel, I need to put it down.
Oliver? Deb? John? Scott? Doug? Amanda? Good. Any other items of consideration? See you at 7:30. We're adjourned. Want to call to order the June 25th, 2026 O'Fallon City Council meeting to order. Roll call, Bess.
Mayor Hennessy.
Present.
Councilmember Wexler.
Present.
Councilmember Wilcox.
Present.
Councilmember Boyer.
Present.
Councilmember Yates.
He's excused.
Councilmember Costello.
Present.
Councilmember Link.
Present.
Councilmember Spencer.
Present.
Councilmember Taylor.
Present.
Councilmember Cook.
Present.
Councilmember Palmer.
Present.
If everyone would please stand for the invocation by Police Chaplain Janine Ellett, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilmember Wilcox.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this opportunity to lift this great city of O'Fallon up to you in prayer. I just pray that you would bless all of our leaders here tonight and give them your wisdom, guide them in every word that they say, Lord. May there be unity here tonight, and I just pray that you would bless this meeting, and may your will be done here. Thank you for the first responders. Thank you for the law enforcement. Thank you for this, just keeping our city straight and safe. And I thank you so much for everyone here tonight, and may you just bless this meeting. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Folks, you have an agenda in front of you. What's the pleasure?
Motion to approve, Costello.
Second, Wexler.
Motion by Costello, second by Wexler. Questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. We have some dare readers. Mr. Boyer?
Good evening. I am Brian Boyer. One of the cool things that I get to do is be, as part of being on the council, is I'm the liaison to the Youth Advisory Council. And one of the cooler things that we get to do is attend all of these DARE graduations and get to see all these kids as they're graduating from elementary school into middle school, learning the tricks and tips on how to stand up for themselves and how to not be a bully and stand up with their friends and how to make good choices and become great leaders as they go forward. There's so many of these kids out there. Each one of the classes got to write their own essay, and each class got to nominate one person to come up and read it in front of all of their school. And then out of those, we got 3 that are here tonight that get to read it for all of you guys here tonight. So this is a very good honor, and the lessons that they learned, that Officer Bradley came and met with them for many, many weeks, teaching them all of this. They all get to learn this, tell us what they learned, and all of these lessons that they learned, they actually apply to us as well. So if we open our ears, listen to them, bespout all of this logic and just goodness of how we should treat one another, it's going to be awesome. And I'll bring up Officer Bradley to kind of explain some more of the program, and we'll bring up some of the speakers.
Hi, I'm Officer Bradley. I am one of the DARE officers here in O'Fallon. If you're not familiar with DARE, it is a 10-week curriculum where a local law enforcement officer gets to come into your 5th grade students' classes and teach them about substance abuse, stress management, bullying, and other life skills. This has been proven with studies that it is very crucial and important over the time period. Today you're going to hear from 3 phenomenal students who prepared essays at their DARE graduation. Amongst other students that they were read at their DARE graduation, and the mayor handpicked one student from each school. They're great essays, but not only that, they're great kids. These kids possess all the strong qualities I like to see in my DARE graduates. They are leaders. They have empathy and kindness with others, and I think I'm just excited to watch them as they keep growing. If you want to first go ahead and call up Ishant.
Oh, the whole family can come
Whole
up.
family, come on.
Yep.
Wherever you brought.
And as they come up, you get to introduce them. So,
Don't forget the lady. Hey, don't forget the lady behind you. Don't forget her either.
Hey.
Don't forget your officer.
So do I introduce my family and you?
This is what I brought today.
Hi, good evening. So today, my name is Ishant Nandiala, and with me here are my parents and sister. This is my mom. Her name is Laika. This is my sister. Her name is Akshara. And this is my dad. His name is Pradeep.
Good evening,
And this is Officer Bradley, who came to my school to teach my 5th grade peers. In the DARE program, I learned lessons that go far beyond the classroom. I learned how the choices I make today can shape my future in ways I may not fully understand yet. Before this program, I did not truly realize how powerful the influence of drugs and alcohol could be, or how quickly one decision could change a person's life. DARE helped open my eyes in a way I will not forget. One of the most important lessons I learned is how to stand strong against peer pressure. There may be moments when others try to influence me to do something I know is wrong, such as doing drugs or making unsafe choices. DARE taught me that saying no is not something to feel ashamed of. It is something to be proud of. I learned that walking away from a bad situation takes courage, and that real friends will respect my choices. If someone does not respect my choices, I now understand that they are not the right people for me to follow. I also learned about the serious damage drugs can cause both the body and mind. Drugs do not just affect a person in the moment. They can slowly take away their health, their relationships, and their future. What surprised me the most was how quickly something dangerous can spiral out of control. This made me realize that the strongest choice I can make is to never start in the first place. That understanding has stayed with me and changed the way I think about the future. Another powerful lesson was learning about tobacco and smoking. I learned that something that may seem small or harmless at the time can actually lead to serious damage over time. Smoking can harm the lungs, making every breath more difficult, and nicotine can create a strong addiction that is very hard to escape. Even vaping, which some people think is safer, can still harm the body. This lesson made me realize how important it is to protect my health before it is ever put at risk. Lastly, DARE taught me something I will carry with me every day: to pause and think before I make decisions. Life is full of choices, and even the smallest ones can lead to very different outcomes. In the moment, it can be easy to act without thinking, but I have learned that a few seconds of self-reflection can make all the difference. I now try to choose patience over impulse and awareness over pressure. Overall, DARE has given me more than information. It has given me confidence, awareness, and strength. It has helped me understand that I have the power to choose my own path, no matter what pressure I face. I am deeply grateful to the DARE officers for taking their time to guide students like me and for teaching lessons that truly have the power to shape our lives. These lessons will stay with me not just in school, but for the rest of my life. And I have another page, which this time, it's not an essay, it's a rap about DARE. In DARE, I learned to stop and think. Every choice I make can shift in a blink. One small decision can change my way, so I choose my actions every day. Drugs and alcohol come with a cost. One wrong move and so much is lost. They start off small but grow too fast and can take your future so it won't last. When pressure comes, I don't follow the crowd. I say no clearly, I say it proud. Real friends respect the choice I make. If they don't, I walk away for my own sake. Drugs can harm both mind and health, steal your future or time your wealth. Tobacco and vaping aren't safe like they seem. They damage your body more than you dream. Nicotine grips and is hard to break. That's a risk I refuse to take. I choose clean air, I choose to be free, I choose what's best for my future and me. DARE taught me to think ahead, to choose good paths and where I'm led. I stand strong, I stay in control. That's the lesson deep in my soul.
Great job, young man. So were you more nervous here or when you did it at school?
What?
Were you more nervous here or when you were at school? In front of
Probably when I was here.
everybody? Here? You did a great job, though, young man.
Thank you.
T-shirt for you. Nice job.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Lillian.
Lillian, do you want to come on up with your family?
Thank you. This is my family. This is my dad, my mom, my little sister May, and my grandpa. Dear myself, Dare has taught me so much in every lesson with Officer Bradley and my class. We have had lessons such as what drugs, alcohol, and smoking can do to our bodies, ways to say no to drugs, the HELP network, and so on. I believe everyone in my class can agree that Dare has been one of the best learning experiences we have ever had. Though more than I can even count can probably agree with me that Dare should last longer because of the fun. All things have to stop somewhere, just like a case that Officer Bradley has probably done millions of times. My first favorite lesson would be signs of stress, because the lesson had all the different ways that are signs of stress, like hot ears, red faces, yelling, and crying. The lesson taught me how to know and see all the signs and know how to react. My second favorite lesson would be communication styles, because the lesson had all the different ways to communicate, like demanding something or someone, confidently asking for someone or something, and nervously asking for something or someone. The lesson taught me that there is more to communication styles than just the tones in my voice. I believe that I will forever remember Dare as the best 9 to 10 lessons in a workbook that I have ever experienced. In conclusion, Dare with Officer Bradley was one of my most favorite things in my 5th grade school year, because it taught me what drugs, alcohol, and tobacco can do to my body, how to get away from doing drugs, and how to communicate in a drug usage situation. Some of the vocabulary words we had learned were responsibility, dare, decision-making model, health effects, and peer pressure. Everyone in my class can agree that Dare has been one of the best learning experiences we have ever had. When I leave Discovery Ridge, I will remember everything that I've learned, because I feel like every Dare lesson is burned into my brain. I hope that next year's students will feel the same way that I do about Dare.
Here? Do you see yourself on TV? Huh? Great job, young lady. Great job.
Tree, you want to come on up? From Dardine Elementary. With your family, you get to introduce them as well.
All right, so this is my mom. This is my brother, and this is my mom, and my dad's currently out of town right now, so. Good evening. My name is Trevu, and I am a 5th grade student at Dardine Elementary School. This year, my class participated in the DARE program, which DARE stands for Drug Abuse Resistance Education. With my DARE teacher, Officer Bradley, the DARE program teaches kids about drugs and bullying and why they are bad. The DARE program mainly teaches kids how to make much more safe and responsible choices. I have learned many things during our DARE lessons. What I have learned is that there are over 88,000 alcohol-related deaths each year in the U.S. Alcohol is illegal for anyone under the age of 21, which means only adults can drink alcohol. Alcohol is dangerous when mixed with medicine. Alcohol also slows down the human brain and body, which is why some health effects from alcohol are loss of coordination and dizziness. Stuff like tobacco has harmful chemicals. There are more than 200 known harmful chemicals inside of cigarette smoke. People can simply get addicted to tobacco because it accommodates nicotine, an addictive substance. There are more than 480,000 Americans that die from tobacco-related causes each year. People that smoke will have more colds and upper respiratory problems. Smoking can also lead to yellow teeth and smelly breath. It is illegal to sell tobacco under the age of 21. Tobacco can also get your jaw removed. I have also learned about bullying during our DARE lessons. Some stuff I have learned is that you don't know what another person is going through. You cannot exclude someone that wants to play with you just because they play with other people. People should be equal to each other and not exclude or make fun of anyone for what they play, what they do, and what they are as a person. You don't have to like that person, but it is not right to make fun of them. That is very rude, and it could change someone's day, week, month, year, or even life. DARE is a great program that can change your life or change your future. Drugs and bullying could get you into a bad future and you can end up getting in prison. But there's also another option to not take drugs and to not bully people, which could change your whole life in a good way. You could be known as a good person to other people. I thank the DARE program for teaching me how to be a healthy and responsible person.
Go online and watch you do this, tomorrow or the next day. Let's go to this meeting, he can find out and watch you do this, okay? Great job, young man, great job.
We're good.
Good?
I think so.
So what I told Trey is, if any grandparents or anybody wants to watch what they did, all they got to do is go online and go to this meeting, and they can watch this and send it to whoever they want to send it to. So our next in the presiding officer report, University of Missouri Extension update from board member Ms. Ragsdale. Linda?
Hello, Council. I know most of you know me, but for people at home that might not know who I am, Linda Ragsdale, I am an appointed member from City of O'Fallon to the University of Missouri Extension Service. I just kind of briefly want to mention, I think a lot of people, when they think of the Extension Service, they think 4-H, agriculture, things like that. The Extension Service is so much more than that. And I just kind of want to touch very briefly on some of the things that we have coming up. Historical highlights. It's a new thing that the executive director of the Extension, Dina Dothage, is writing. Historical highlights St. Charles County Historical Society. She's writing features about historical places all around St. Charles County. I know we have a lot of gems here in O'Fallon, and I think that we need to make sure that she knows about some of those. Maybe we'll see some O'Fallon things being written up, which I think would be fantastic. Coming up the week of September 28th through October 4th, Missouri Good Neighbor Week. I know a lot of people are like, what is that? It was actually signed into law back in 2022, where it encourages residents to participate in events and activities that will establish connections with their neighbors. How many times do we get home, pull into our garage, close our garage door, and then we just don't even think about what our neighbors are actually doing or even know anything about our neighbors? So I think this is a great program that the Extension Service is doing. They're encouraging people to perform and report good acts of neighboring, and you can report those actions on their website. Then during Good Neighbor Week, we're going to be celebrating those wonderful events that your neighbors are doing by presenting awards through the Extension Service. One one thing that's very close and near and dear to my heart is doing Christmas cards for soldiers. We have a lot of deployed soldiers that are all over the world right now, and this is done through Heroes Care, but the Extension Service has kind of jumped on the bandwagon to do this. And City of O'Fallon has been wonderful doing this at least the last year, maybe the last 2 years. Heroes Care will send a care package to every deployed soldier, and what they like to include in these care packages is just a Christmas card. Doesn't have to be anything long or fancy, just something that we can send to let these soldiers that are deployed know that people back home are thinking about them. So perhaps we can get with the City of O'Fallon and do another Christmas card signing like you all did last year, because that was absolutely fantastic. One of the things that the Extension Service is kind of thought of is, I call it food stuff. They do a lot of nutrition classes. They teach canning and things like that. I think those are some of the things that people think of when they think of the Extension Service. In addition to that, there are Master Gardener classes. And don't forget, if you're having issue with your, you're already the expert gardener, but you can't figure out why something is not growing the way it should be. A lot of people bring in soil samples. We have people at the University Extension Service on Brown Road. They'll take your soil samples and actually send it to the university and can help you figure out what's going on with your soil, what nutrients or what have you that you need to be able to fix that problem. But the biggest thing that we have coming up, this is not through the Extension Service, but the Extension Service is obviously a big supporter of it, would be the county fair. It's going to be July 28th through August the 1st. There are going to be so many fantastic events going on. There are kids' games on Tuesday, July 28th. There is the Little Mr. and Miss St. Charles County Fair contest. On Friday, July 31st, the Kids' Pig Scramble. I have no idea what that is. You just have to come and find out. There will be a tug of war for the kids. On Saturday, August the 1st, not to rain on the Chambers Parade, but they are going to have a baby contest. There's also going to be a turtle race, a frog race, a nickel scramble. I have no idea what those things are, so I say just show up and figure out, see for yourself. And then the 2026 St. Charles County Fair Queen Pageant. July 28th and 29th at 7:30 is the rodeo, and then on Thursday, July 30th at 5:40 is the Nostalgia Car Show. If anybody is interested in going to the county fair, daily admission ranges from $15 to $25 for adults, depending on what day you want to go. Children 6 to 12 are $5. And seniors 60 and over on Wednesday only will be $5, half price for military with proper ID. Season pass, which would be all 5 days, will be $40 for adults, $25 for children, 6 to 12. And if you want more information on the county fair, go to stcharlescofair.org. So. This was really hard to have to follow the DARE students. These DARE readers are always fantastic. So, but does anyone have any questions?
Questions for Ms. Taylor?
The good
I don't
neighbor.
know if I'm going to know.
You might have said it and I missed it. The good neighbor to nominate someone. Where do you nominate them?
It's on the website, and unfortunately, I cannot remember. Tony, do you by any chance know what our website is? Google
on the website.
You can Google University of Missouri Extension Service. It takes you to the state's website, and then from there you can filter down to each individual county. I think I got onto our county website and I just did a search for Good Neighbor Week, and information popped up on there. So.
Mr. Wexler?
Thank you. Linda, it's good to see you.
You too.
Do you know, with the soil samples, can you just show up with those, or do you have to schedule it, or how's
No,
show up?
You just show up. I'm going to get back to you because I'm trying to remember if there are certain days of the week that you have to take those in, but I will get back with you on that.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Perfect.
Anybody else?
Y'all are easy. Thank you.
Thanks, Linda.
Y'all have a good evening.
You too. Next proclamation, Mr. Wexler, you want to join me down front?
looks different from down here. All right, so we have a proclamation for our Parks and Rec Department for Parks and Rec Month. Whereas Parks and Recreation is an integral part of communities throughout this country, including the city of O'Fallon, Missouri, and whereas Parks and Recreation promote health and wellness by improving the physical and mental health of people who live near parks, and whereas Parks and Recreation support time spent in nature, which positively impacts mental health by increasing cognitive performance and well-being, and whereas Parks and Recreation encourage physical activity by providing space for popular sports, trails, swimming pools, and many other activities designed to promote active lifestyles. And whereas Parks and Recreation programming and educational activities such as out-of-school time programming, youth sports, and environmental education are critical to a childhood development. And whereas Parks and Recreation increase a community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of local tax base, increased tourism, the attraction and retention of businesses, and crime reduction. And whereas Parks and Recreation are fundamental to the environmental well-being of our community and is essential and adaptable infrastructure that strengthens our communities against natural disasters and climate change. And whereas our parks and natural recreation areas ensure that ecological beauty and of our community and provide a place for children and adults to connect with nature and recreate outdoors. And whereas the U.S. House of Representatives has designated July as Parks and Recreation Month, and the City of O'Fallon recognizes the benefit derived from parks and recreation resources. Now therefore, he, Bill Hennessy, Mayor, and the City Council of the City of O'Fallon, Missouri, do hereby proclaim July 2026 as Parks and Recreation Month.
It always somehow is me. I guess I want to go quick and keep it short. I think I can speak on behalf of the entire leadership team. There are a lot of team members in your Parks and Recreation departments that are not standing up here today, in addition to the faces that you see and the representation from the advisory board as well. And nothing that we do throughout the busy summer season would be possible without any of those people. So if you see them out and about while you're exploring the parks, please say hi and give them a high five or a thumbs up. But also we have a lot of free events coming up in July to celebrate Parks and Rec Month. Obviously it kicks off with Heritage and Freedom Fest, but we're doing some new stuff like splash pad socials, art in the park, a senior ice cream social, on top of a ton of other programs that the entire staff has already planned well before I added more to their plate. So if you don't have a passport, we encourage everyone to get one and explore some of our great parks.
And as Kristen said, we start off with the Heritage and Freedom Fest on July 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So declaring the festival district, I, Bill Hennessy, Mayor of the great city of O'Fallon, declare the festival district for July 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, 2026 to be in effect. During the period of the festival and throughout periods of our preparation for the event, some residents will be temporarily inconvenienced in the area subdivisions near the festival grounds and will experience road closures and parking restrictions in accordance with our district ordinance. A complete version of the ordinance, 6095, is available on the city website at www.o'fallonmode.gov, on the city cable channel, or by contacting the city clerk's office at 636-379-5555. In advance, I would like to thank everyone for their patience and consideration in helping to enforce our ordinances in order to make our Heritage and Freedom Festival a safe and fun experience for everyone. So just on that note, we'll begin with citizens' comments. I have one person, Mr. Dienoff.
Thank you very much, members of the City Council. My name is Arnie C. A.C. Dienoff, City Public Advocate, running for County Executive on August the 4th. I want to start out by stating Bill number 7871. It's Crisis Intervention Team Grant Program. We already do this in-house. We have a lot of detached officers and one captain to federal task force, county issues, and other law enforcement related issues. I'd like to see some type of report of our return on investment for all these capital of salary, benefits, and pension, where they're being taken from our neighborhoods and our streets right here in O'Fallon. So this is yet another officer for $150,000 who we're taking off our streets and out of our neighborhoods, in my opinion. I think we're top heavy in deployment of officers and a captain to other outside law enforcement issues. The next issue is Bill number 7872, City Monument Agreement with MoDOT. I hope we're not taking on additional CLIP-related areas. The art in the circle down on the south side with this latest project is a total joke. As a matter of fact, the art here at the municipal complex on North Main Street in the front lawn, how much did that tire cost the city? I could go out there and paint a tire, and I'm sure we probably paid $10,000 to $20,000, and it's a ridiculous piece of art that we have here on the municipal center on North Main Street. Resolution A, Jim Renzera, our Environmental Services Director, hopefully he's true to his word that we will be saving over $100,000 on an additional purchase of 3 side-load refuge trucks from Elliott Equipment. Hopefully they're going to guarantee their bid for this year. Proposed Bill number 7870, the Real-Time Information Center. I want to point to your attention, council members, J5, located on page 6. They can hire their own legal counsel, which I think is ridiculous. When we have close to $1 million city attorney that we pay, one of the highest paid law firms in the region, without a bid for the last 10 years. This is a duplication of taxpayer money, staffing, and resources. In O'Fallon, we have the Arctic with 6 officers that will be assigned through various agencies. St. Charles County, St. Louis County has the RIC, Regional Information and Intelligence Center, at the Maryland Heights County Precinct Station, run by a joint agreement by St. Charles and St. Louis counties. And then we have the Infusion Center, it's called the RTCC, Real-Time Information Center, located in the city of St. Louis with the St. Louis City Police.
You have 10
federal
seconds.
And county agencies. We have an emergency managed officer deployed to the county and deployment attachments. And then I want to talk about proposed ordinance 7869.
Mr. Dienoff.
Why do
Mr.
we
Dienoff.
provide a police...
Mr. Dienoff, your time is up, sir. Mr. Dienoff, your time is up, sir. We have no other citizens' comments. Brings us to ward reports. Ward 1.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to reiterate that Parks and Recreation Month, it's a pretty exciting time to get out and enjoy our parks. One of the events that I am most looking forward to, taking my little guy down to Sports Park for Messy Mania. Let him get messy outside and hose him off out there so he doesn't do it at home. So that's all I got. Get out in the parks. Thanks.
Mr. Wilcox.
Lots of great things going on in O'Fallon this summer. Our Heritage and Freedom Fest, as we mentioned, July 1st through the 4th. Jammin' concerts start again on July 14th, and the Hoots baseball team is playing for another over a month. So get out and enjoy all the great things in O'Fallon.
Thank you. Ward 2, Mr. Boyer.
Awesome. Happy 4th of July. It's coming up next week. So Freedom and Heritage Fest, come on out, have fun. Also, earlier this week, we opened a new trail for the Darting Greenway. It's the Twin Island Trailhead in partnership with the Great Rivers. And so it's another way for us to make O'Fallon interconnected so you can go out and be about. Thank you, USA.
Thank you. Word 3.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to hope everybody had a great Father's Day and wish everybody a happy and safe 4th.
Mr. Cascella.
Thank you, Mayor. Happy 4th, everybody. Come see us at the Heritage and Freedom Fest. I was really hoping Boyer was going to do the same thing as last year and tell us to throw balls at him and get him. Oh, God. Happy 4th.
Oh, boy. can you control these people up here? Ward 4.
Yes, I also wanted to wish everyone a happy 4th of July. And also this year, it's kind of especially meaningful because it's America 250. And of course, the event, we're all wearing our shirts and talking about it to attend for the 4th is O'Fallon Heritage and Freedom Fest. Also come out Saturday morning where we have the parade. And this year's, the entire council is going to be marching together for the 4th of July parade. So that's going to be pretty neat. And we don't always agree on every issue, but we all share the same commitment, I think, to serving the community, and walking together is definitely a reminder that despite our different perspectives, that we're privileged, despite our different perspectives, that we can stand united and celebrating our city and our country and the people that we're privileged to represent. At the end of the day, it's Team O'Fallon. So, and of course, we're talking about throwing some balls, a little extra fun. I will also be in the dunk tank on Saturday, so you can come throw something at me. I'm sure that line will be long. I'll have my snorkel and flippers ready, so I have a feeling I'm going to need them. Thanks.
Thank you. Ms. Spencer.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to say happy 4th of July to everyone as well. Don't forget to come out to the Heritage and Freedom Fest. It's going to be an amazing time, as it is every single year. When you do come out and see Councilwoman Taylor in the dunk tank, don't throw things at her, maybe just at the bullseye to dunk her. But also, we should probably all be gunning for Mr. Mayor over here, too. He'll be Saturday at 5:30?
The 3rd at 5:30.
The 3rd at 5:30. You heard it here first, folks. Come dunk your mayor. Happy 4th, everyone.
Thank you. Ward 5.
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to tag on. Looking forward to seeing everybody out at the festival and at the parade. It's always an exciting time. And then I also wanted to jump on the parks. I had an opportunity to take a couple of my grandkids to Alligators Creek last week, and I just want to give them a shout out. The staff was really professional. The pool was beautiful. Everything about it. The kids just had a wonderful time. So I think we have a real gem here in O'Fallon. So if you haven't been this year, please get your kids out to Alligators Creek.
Okay. Mr. Palmer.
Thank you, Mayor. Just again, want to congratulate Ishanth, Lillian, and Tree on their DARE essays, and especially to Officer Bradley and the rest of the police department. What a great community engagement, and hearing kids read those essays continues to remind me of the bright future that we have. Also, happy 4th to everyone. Part of my thunder got stolen. I will be on Friday at 4 p.m. I'm planning on staying pretty dry, so I want to issue a challenge to everyone there. And then also, as Councilwoman Taylor mentioned, we will all be together. Just don't throw stuff back at us. We'll throw candy to you. Don't throw it back at us. But I plan on hiding behind Doug Link and Mr. Wilcox, so if you're trying to throw at me, I should be safe.
All right. Chief, can we do a favor? Can we list the list of people who's going to be in the dunk tank and at what time on your Facebook page, and get it out to the folks so they know, not to come between 5 and 5:30 on the 3rd?
We can absolutely get that schedule out.
I'd appreciate it. And if the council has not yet signed up, please do. Brings us to our city administrator's report. Mr. Snowden.
Thank you, Mayor. I recently received a letter from a resident in Ward 2. He lives in Monticello Manor, and he wanted to thank the city for the recent road work in his subdivision. This is part of our multi-million-dollar slab replacement program, and I'd like to quote from his letter. He said, "I know community work like this is pretty thankless, so I just wanted to make sure someone said it. I really appreciate both the city and the contractor for taking care of this for us. It made a big difference right away. The entrance looks so much better, and honestly, the whole neighborhood feels nicer because of it. Thank you for investing in our neighborhood and our city," end quote. No, Mr. Marty, thank you for recognizing the great work that our folks do. And lastly, I'd like to wish Councilmember Palmer a happy upcoming birthday, and that's all I have tonight, sir.
Thank you. Brings us to old business. Brings to Bill 7868. Motion for second reading.
Costello.
Motion by Mr. Cascella, second.
Second, Link.
Second by Mr. Link. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Ms. Stephanie?
An ordinance providing for the approval and acceptance of the dedication of streets and storm sewers, excluding detention, for maintenance by the City of O'Fallon for the villages at Post Farms Plat 4.
Motion for final passage.
Costello.
Motion by Mr. Casella, second.
Second Link.
Second by Mr. Link. Questions or comments? Cast your vote.
The voting's closed.
9 yes, 0 no. 7868 passed, becomes ordinance number
7324.
7324. Thank you, Bess. Brings to Bill 7869. Motion for second reading.
Taylor.
Motion by Councilwoman Taylor.
Boyer.
Second by Councilman Boyer. All in favor? Any opposed? Ms. Stephanie?
An ordinance amending the 2026 budget for the period of January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2026 for the City of O'Fallon, Missouri, and providing for the approval of expenditures made pursuant to said budget.
Thank you. Motion final passage.
Taylor.
Motion by Councilman Taylor, second.
Boyer.
Second by Councilman Boyer. Questions or comments? Cast your vote.
The voting's closed.
9 yes, 0 no. 7869 passed, becomes ordinance number
7325.
7325. Thank you, Bess. Brings to Bill 7870. Motion for second reading.
Costello.
Motion by Mr. Casella, second.
Wexler.
Second by Councilman Wexler. All in favor? Any opposed? Miss Stephanie?
An ordinance approving an intergovernmental agreement to participate in O'Fallon's real-time information center to enhance law enforcement capabilities.
Thank you. Motion final passage.
Costello.
Motion by Casella, second.
Wexler.
Second by Councilman Wexler. Questions or comments? Vote. There you go.
The voting's closed.
9 yes, 0 no. 7870 passed and becomes ordinance number
7326.
7326. Thank you, Bess. 7871. Motion for second reading.
Wilcox.
Motion by Councilman Wilcox, second.
Wexler.
Second by Councilman Wexler. All in favor? Any opposed? Stephanie?
An ordinance authorizing the city administrator to enter into an agreement with St. Louis County, Missouri to participate in a crisis intervention team grant program.
Thank you. Motion for final passage.
Wilcox.
Motion by Councilman Wilcox, second.
Wexler.
Second by Councilman Wexler. Questions or comments? Cast your vote.
The voting's closed.
9 yes, 0 no. 7871 passed, becomes ordinance number
7327.
7327. Thank you, Bess. Questions or comments on the committee and commission reports? Stand as read. Questions or comments on the consent calendar?
Motion to approve, Costello.
Motion by Casella, second.
Wexler.
Second by Councilman Wexler. Cast your vote.
The voting's closed.
9 yes, 0 no. Consent calendar's been approved. Brings to Bill 7872. Motion for first reading.
Wilcox.
Motion by Councilman Wilcox, second.
Wexler.
Second by Councilman Wexler. Councilman Wilcox, please present the bill.
Bill number 7872, an ordinance approving a first supplemental license agreement for a city monument between the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission and the City of O'Fallon, Missouri.
Thank you. Brings to Bill 7873. Motion for first reading.
Link.
Motion by Councilman Link, second.
Costello.
Second by Casella. Councilman Link, please present the bill.
Bill number 7873, an ordinance providing for the approval and acceptance of the dedication of streets and storm sewers, excluding detention, for maintenance by the City of O'Fallon for the streets of Caledonia, Plat 7.
Thank you. Questions or comments on Resolution 625, 2026A? Seeing none. Motion second to introduce.
Wexler.
Motion by Councilman Wexler, second.
Costello.
Second by Cascola. All in favor? Any opposed? Stephanie?
A resolution authorizing an agreement with Elliott Equipment providing for the purchase of 3 side-load refuse trucks in an amount not to exceed $926,675.
Thank you. Motion to approve.
Wexler.
Motion by Councilman Wexler, second.
Costello.
Second, Cascola. Cast your vote.
The voting's closed.
9 yes, 0 no. Resolution A has been approved. No further business. This meeting is adjourned at 8:17.